Hey there, everyone. Welcome on the VG Emporium, video game music and more. And today I got me a repeat guest in the form of Martyrus, host of Re-VGM podcast. And I'll let him... There he is. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, for those who don't know, I am Martyrus, the host of Re-VGM, a show about video game music that has been rearranged, reorchestrated, and remade. Well, basically, I play covers and remixes of video game music in addition to the original.
Yeah, it's something I need to do more is play remixes, but like I said, you got that covered. Rhythm and Pixels has it covered at the end of their show. So, remixes aren't being neglected, so that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, my show's solely focused on the remixes and covers. Everyone else, it's like a... How do you call it? It's either dessert or a side dish.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And yes, so Martyrus, again, host of Re-VGM, is also what would you call my podcast bro, because he and I started basically around the same time, like a few weeks apart. He's only like a couple episodes behind me as far as, our count and stuff, so it's been kind of cool to, be in this journey together.
Oh, yeah.
And, the 100 episode threshold, the 2-year threshold.
Oh, gosh.
And, we did it. We doing it.
Oh, I know. We're on our third year now. It's amazing.
Getting into the third run, so we'll see how long we last. So, what is it that we are talking about today, Martyrus?
Well, I was just walking through the store here, looking at a few things. And, I happened to come across some interesting items, like this little school section here in the VG Emporium. And I thought, gosh, I think we need to talk about some video games used to play back in high school. Well, at least relative to our own timeline,
Oh, man, for me, I was born into video games, so, I have all the, the big ones, elementary school, middle school, high school.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, for my timeline, I was there when video games pretty much started, way back to when there was Pong. Who remembers that game?
Well, some folks.
And then, of course... And for me, I played the Atari 2600, moved on to the Nintendo Entertainment System, and stayed with Nintendo pretty much for roughly most of my gaming life. Then I veered off a little bit over to the PlayStation, but I still stuck with it, with the Nintendo.
Nintendo boy all the way. For me personally, I was always all over the place because, I got my stuff at like a generation behind and usually secondhand. So, my first console was the Sega Master System. And then, I got an NES from a friend that had gotten the SNES and thought, I don't need this thing anymore. And just, gave it to me and just I was always a generation behind except for couple points. Mm-hmm. But we'll get there soon. But, yes. So, sir,
okay,
what is
cool.
this that we opened up with? And how does it pertain to your school days, memories?
Well, we opened up this episode with Tetris Theme Remix 1989 for the Game Boy plus Commodore 64 plus PO28. Oof. Originally composed by Hirokazu Hip Tanaka. God, I can't stop saying his name. And remixed by Lukash.
Lukash. Yeah, and his, this is a pretty interesting one. It's like a mix of, I hear the Commodore 64 in there, but there's also all these other sounds like, big production kind of stuff. And then a little dibbly Game Boy in there. I don't know if he's just using the original tune or if he's actually kind of recomposed it in LSDJ and, kind of going crazy with it there. But, this is a big.
Oh, really big. It's even more big when you watch the video of this track. It's just amazing to see all the hardware he's surrounded by. And, there's the Commodore 64 keyboard he's got. And as you mentioned, the little Game Boy off to the side here. It's like, damn, how do you manage all that?
I don't know. It's just I can't. Like I was saying to you earlier, I can't. I've tried it before. I've tried using hardware stuff like, a synthesizer, a friend trying to stick me with a loop station for beatboxing. And my brain just can't wrap around it for some bizarre reason. I can do a lot of software and digital stuff, but hardware is I gotta force myself to really use it. So big kudos to this guy for being able to manage all of that.
Probably that muscle memory, I guess.
So what is this? What memories do you have on this fella?
Oh gosh, let's see. This was when the original Game Boy came out. That nice big bulky brick of a console or handheld, excuse me. But yeah, I think I was one of the first people in my high school to get one.
Dang.
And I managed, and I happened to find out that someone else also had a Game Boy. And so we decided to play Tetris together because I also got the cable link to connect two Game Boys together.
Nice.
You know, went through the user rigor mortis of putting the same game in both handhelds, turning it on, and then seeing that, okay, good, we see each other. And might I say, it was definitely fun to play Tetris against this other classmate. Although I'm sad to say that I beat her, but she didn't like it. She kept complaining, "You're beating me." Like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm just so good at this game that I can play up to level 28.
Sandy, I think I've only ever gotten up to 18. This is on the NES version, but yeah, I think I only ever got to level 18 as far as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 20 once, but yeah, this is like my main memories of this is this being set up in my bedroom that I share with my sisters, but my mom sitting there and playing it, hours. Sometimes be nighttime and she'd be sitting there playing it and be like, "I gotta go sleep, Mom." She just didn't care. She was addicted to Tetris.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I can understand. It was definitely an addiction for me, but yeah, I played it so much it became second nature to a point where I myself experienced the Tetris effect. It's just all these blocks falling left and right. It was just like a cascade of, a waterfall of all these blocks coming down and putting them neatly.
Yeah, I know that. And I've experienced that with a few things like Luminous. You could say Tetris effect with just other games that aren't Tetris, but has that same thing where kind of get into that zone of just being able to. His mind just kind of goes blank and looping. For me, I loop something in my head, like either a phrase or some scene or something and it's just kind of that's what gets me through all the intensity. It's like, whoa, how did I do that?
Nice. Well, speaking of Well, speaking of intensity, I think you have an intense track here that you've got, right?
It's somewhat intense, yeah. It's very moody. So what this is here is Dustman theme, classic style, from Mega Man, the Sequel Wars, originally from Mega Man 4, and it was originally composed by Manai Fuji and arranged by ASW, or Armored Struggle Wagon. So this was Dustman's stage theme from Mega Man, the Sequel Wars. This was the classic style, or also known as the Wily War style. And this was originally composed by Manai Fuji and arranged by ASW, or Armored Struggle Wagon. So, some context on this here version. So, yeah, this is Sega Genesis, YM2612, a little bit of the SN76489. And this is from a fan-made game, which is based, it's a Mega Man 4 remade, done in the style of the Wily Wars, which was the Mega Drive Sega Genesis remake of the first 3 Mega Man games. And so I love the music of that remake, and I was always wondering what would 4, 5, and 6 sound like of this. And it's happening. Like, they've already released 4, and now they're currently they're also working on 5 and 6. I'm thinking 5 will be following soon, but yeah, it's just really cool. Though they have this classic style, but they also have original style, which is a little bit more bombastic, like using the sample channel and the 6th FM channel, and a lot more big and meatier and grungier. But this is that kind of, I like this version a lot better because this is like what I was hoping for, Wily War style Mega Man 4, and Yeah, what'd you think of this?
Oh, like I said, it's pretty intense. Pretty good.
Yeah, Dustman's theme is like, out of all like the Mega Man themes, is probably like a fan favorite. Like, you know, it's one of the, as far as like, you know, this game, and just the feel of it, like the mood of the stage, the mood of this track sets, it's just really like moody and intense and just kind of like, oh man, yeah, got real.
Oh yes, it's great when music does that to you.
Yeah, so as far as like my memories on this, so yeah, I played this for the first time. Like, this is my first Mega Man game, and you know, I was still in elementary school, kind of like, you know, I want to say like maybe kindergarten, first grade or something. And yeah, I was just like, you know, friend had gotten it, like, you know, they invited me over to, you know, see them play, and I was like, whoa, what is this? This is like really cool looking, you know, seeing this little blue guy jumping around shooting things. And then, as I was telling you earlier, I was gifted this this friend after once they got an SNES. I was gifted this, you know, their whole, like, their NES with all the games they had. And you know, Mega Man 4, no, it wasn't part of it, but I had to go and rent it. But it was one of the games that I rented the most, alongside Mega Man 5. But yeah, this you know, this holds a special place for me because my first Mega Man game, and you know, started on me that journey. But yeah, so that's my you know, not quite related to school, but just like, you know, yeah, a lot of my games that I'm talking about aren't really related to school, but you know, I played while I was in school. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but there you go.
Might as well just turn this into a retro episode.
Yeah, you know.
but aside from that,
aside from that, we gonna get, what do you got for us next here, Martyrus, Marty Man?
Already. Well, let's see here. You know what? Let's see. From the world of Wily, let's head on over to the world of the Dragon with Dragon Warrior NES Kingdom of Alfgard Remix. Originally composed by Koichi Sugiyama and remixed by DJ Axis.
Welcome back, folks. That was Dragon Warrior NES Kingdom of Alfgard Remix, originally composed by Koichi Sugiyama and remixed by DJ Axis.
Yes. This game, yeah, interesting memories. This was my first experience of grinding. and most gamers know what I'm talking about, but for those who don't, it's just literally sitting there with a controller in hand, staring at the screen, moving a character about, trying to find enemies to fight to gain experience and gold. and literally grinding yourself to an appropriate level before you head off to the next boss. And usually after finding out that the boss you're trying to fight just whoops your butt.
Yep, and then entails more grinding, which I understand this game was, gave you in spades.
Oh yes, definitely. And of course, it's not just the experience; it's also the gold too, because you want to afford that next level of armor at the next town. It's like,
yeah,
I gotta go get 500 more gold. Where's that wyvern I need to fight?
This is a game, like this whole game series, I have never touched it really. Like only maybe a little bit with emulators, but I just never was able to get to it. It's just one of those. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't know why. Well, I don't know why.
Well, I mean, eventually, once you consider getting the online for your Switch, you can play all 3 of them.
Oh, I can do it the sneaky way through Mio Mini. Plus, that I got the little handheld emulation machine, but keep that on the down low, okay?
Oh, we call. I believe the stores call that a 5-finger discount.
It's not stealing if they don't catch you. I don't know. I don't know.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. So, sir, what? I think you said you had like a funny little story for this game here that, I'm imagining many of us have memories of as kids with one game or another.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I love this game so much. I play it not only after doing my homework, but I try to play it in the morning. And well, one morning I was playing too long and I couldn't get to a save point, quick enough. And once I did, I just grabbed my bags, grabbed my lunch, and ran up the hill to my bus stop. And just as I got to the bus stop, the bus was just pulling up from the hill. I was like, damn, I'm never doing that again. But I can honestly say I ran up the hill to get to the school bus.
Nah, man.
Dang
yeah, I'm trying to remember if I have I think I might have done it so many times that I can't even remember any specific ones, but yeah, just like, more like staying up late playing games. And, I have done that a bit recently as well. Like, I've been playing Nier Automata. I got that on sale on Switch, and, I have stayed up until about 12 o'clock playing it.
Dang. 12 o'clock.
Because,
Are you serious? Come on. I've stayed as late as 2:30 playing Apex Legends with friends. Well, come on.
Well, I usually get up at like 4 or 6 o'clock in the morning too. So that's
I see.
Yeah, so that's my barometer right there. 12 o'clock is like, I'm only gonna get that many hours of sleep.
Oh wow, you're so grown up.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah.
It's like, do I sleep or do I play more? Well, let me take out the sleep portion now and put the video game in the slot. But yeah.
That little guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that meme.
Yes. It's a juggling act that I'm trying to refigure out because it's been so long since I've actually gotten to gaming that like this last year has been crazy. So I've been having fun with it.
Oh, excellent.
But now another one that I've been having, another game that I had really fun, really fun, a lot of fun, many fun, many big funs I had with this game. So what we got here is Imakuni's theme rearrange. It's originally from Pokemon trading card game, composed by Ichiro Shimakura and arranged by Finir. Okay, so that was Imakuni's theme rearrange from Pokemon the Trading Card Game on the Game Boy, originally composed by Ichiro Shimakura and arranged by Fainir. So now, this theme is so just weird and ridiculous, and I was hoping to find like a remix that kind of embodied that, and I feel like it did a pretty good job. I found a few other ones. There was the one by the Consoles that, was pretty spot on, but it just got a little too, like solo-y jammy at some points, and it's like, I want to hear Imakuni, not you noodling about and stuff. It was good. It was really good. It just wasn't what I was looking for, but yeah. Imakuni's name, Imakuni himself, is just this weird man in a black suit with these bulbs on his head that look like, Mickey Mouse, basically, but they're like kind of antennae thing. And he plays you, and his Pokemon deck is really like, just oddball tactical stuff, and as far as I remember. And he's just sitting in a corner in one of the gym or one of the clubs, and he's just a weird and I've come to find out that he's actually a big figure in the Pokemon trading card game. Like, he has his own card. He's like actual mascot and has like different versions of the head thing going on and has his own theme outside of this one. And he's, bizarro boy. But as far as my memories on this game is, like summer camp, I think it was between like, somewhere halfway between middle school or so, like, elementary school and middle school. I had these Transformers. I forgot to look up which one it was. All I can say was like a variation on Optimus Primal, but it was a Spider Monkey version. Note here from future me, the one I was trying to think of was Optimus Minor, a character that wasn't even in the show, but was just part of the Beast Wars Transformers action figure line. Yeah, there you go. It was all transmetal, like, gold and black and stuff, and it was really cool, and I had it, and like this kid was playing this game, Pokemon trading card game, was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'd like to play that. And then he made a deal. Hey, I'll let you play this, borrow it if you let me borrow your Transformers. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a really cool deal. So I got it, and I played it, I beat it, I enjoyed it. And then, around the time I was going to give it back to him, we were, at summer school or summer camp still. And, I had just recently seen, Austin Powers. And there's a particular female character in there that has a very, pretty risque name. And, little old me, just little Dunko brain, decided to spurt it out. And he's like, oh, I'm going to tell the counselor, but, I'm going to tell them unless you just let me keep your Transformers. And I was like, no, okay, don't tell him, just keep it. And so I had to return his game, and he kept my Transformers.
Oh, my gosh.
Bum deal.
Very bum deal.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. But still, I enjoyed it. The music stuck with me, and discovering that there's a sequel that has a translation patch for it. I have yet to get to playing it, but I've listened to the soundtrack, and it's even better than the original soundtrack. Or not even better. They're just equal. They're just a whole thing. The first OST and the second OST, just a whole package, and it's just amazing.
Nice.
Now, I will pass it back over to you, my friend. And what is it that we have here from you?
To me. Well, let's see. From the world of Pokemon, let's go to the world of Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
With our track, Final Fantasy NES Overworld theme.
Yeah.
Originally composed by the great Nobuo Uematsu, but remixed here by Kairyu Beats 46.
So that was the Final Fantasy NES Overworld theme remix originally composed by Nobuo Uematsu and remixed by Kairu Beats 56.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he just took the original theme, like, the original NES theme, and just put beats over it. Is that his MO?
I believe so. That tends to be the MO for most of these remixes and covers that I find. They just take the original track and they layer it with some extra instruments here and there, which isn't bad, personally, to be honest. I mean, sometimes the bass of the original doesn't sound so kicked up, so
yeah,
they decide to spice it up a little here and there. Or maybe the one instrument stands out way too much, so of course, gotta turn that down a little here and there.
It's pretty nice, it's like kind of fairly standard, but like it's probably maybe like he's probably like starting out and just kind of getting a feel of how to start doing it. So easiest way to do it is just take the original, add a beat, kind of figure out the timing of it and get the rhythm of things and kind of get the feel of things, and then work your way to doing more actual like rearranging of the tracks.
Rearrangements, yes.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it's just kind of like, stepping stones.
Indeed. Now, as for this little stepping stone here, this game, Final Fantasy, was my introduction to the world of JRPGs.
I'd imagine Dragon Quest was your introduction to JRPGs.
Yeah, it was my introduction, but Final Fantasy wasn't really got me hooked.
Okay.
Just the idea of having 4 party members here and there in whatever class or arrangement that you want.
Yeah.
And going out and saving the world and going after these mini bosses before you meet the final boss. And that little twist in the end. It's like, oh, wait, why are we back here again? That's why.
Oh, man. It was Jack all along. He came to destroy chaos, and he became chaos.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. And I enjoyed this game so much that, yes, I actually tried to, I had a little book with me, and I'd start trying to map out the monsters and all the characters and stuff, trying to figure out, how many hit points each monster had purely by watching, the fights that I had. And I even convinced one of my teachers to let me use their Macintosh so I could try to do the pixel art of the characters. That's how fascinated I was with this game.
Mac pixel art. This would be dang. I can't even imagine how clunky that'd have to be.
Yeah, it was a little clunky, but I mean, I didn't care. I just enjoyed this game so much. I guess you could say I was just obsessed.
Yeah, for me personally, I remember there's another one I saw somebody playing, and I was like, "What is this?" It's like, really caught my attention, and wouldn't be years later until I actually played my actual first Final Fantasy that I really got to play was Mystic Quest on the SNES.
Oh, yes, that game.
Yeah, and again, another game that's like, it's very much maligned because it's just so simple. Like Final Fantasy USA is what it was called in Japan, but the music is another like one of those ones is just a highlight. But yeah, it's just it's what it is. I took it, and then I finally got to play. Then I finally got to play Final Fantasy IV on the PlayStation version, like the Chronicles, which was packaged that had Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV on like PlayStation 1, and so that was it took me that long to finally get to those games.
Well, however long it takes.
Yes. So, but I didn't get to I didn't learn how to do emulation. Like I didn't play those through emulation, but something I did get to play through emulation is this next game that this track is coming from, that for our next remix is
Slow down.
Okay, it is Robots into Warehouse, originally called Warehouse, from Skulljagger, originally composed by Dave Hayes and Rod Barr, and arranged by Naze, also now known as Skoshu.
Cereal.
So that was Robots in the Warehouse. Originally, Warehouse from Skulljagger, originally composed by Dave Hayes and Rod Barr, and arranged by Naze, or Skoshu as he goes by now. And this is coming from a site called Overlooked Remix. So I imagine everybody's familiar with Overclocked Remix, which is the go-to place for high-quality video game remixes and arrangements. But back in the day when that started out, there was like Overclocked Remix, The Sauce, VG Mix, but there was an outlier that started up that was kind of spawned from, the kind of going against the quote-unquote pretentiousness that was Overclocked Remix of high quality, all this stuff going on. So Overlooked Remix was born, and it was just a place for the cream of the crap, the weirdest stuff you could ever imagine goes. Mm-hmm. Even though they did have their own standards, but still it's just like the most weird stuff. This stuff right here, this was the highest quality, some of the higher quality stuff you'd find on the site. But that, that's setting the bar, and then you go down and there's some real crap on there, but it's all fun. It's good, it's so bad it's good type stuff. And so this was back in high school, it's about 2005. I should start that, I was looking for, again, Mega Man 4's music, because I had access to the internet, free access to the internet, looking for, a soundtrack from a game I really enjoyed. So I was looking for that, and I came across this thing that was, said Mega Man 4 Skullman's theme. I was like, okay, that's it. But it turned out to be a guitar remix. It was like somebody had recorded on a 4-track, just multiple guitar tracks and stuff. And I was like, what is this? And because it's my first remix I ever heard. And so this led me to the site Overlooked Remix. Nice. And that was like an awakening. That was just blew my mind open to all these genres, all this video game music I had never heard before, because I was only limited to what I could play. And and also this around the same time somebody hooked me up with a bunch of emulators. So so all the music I was hearing on this site, I was like, what is this game? I got to check it out. So I found out how to find ROMs, all that shenanigans and stuff. And this is one of those games, Skulljagger. And this game, not so great, but the music is pretty interesting. Yeah, for the most part, it's you can listen to it, and it's really, it's actually pretty good. Not like a usual, for a bad SNES game, kind of standard schlocky stuff. But this is good. And the remix, they did a whole remix project. It was called the Oh My F***ing Skull. I'm not going to say that word because you know exactly what it is. Mid-2000s internet humor, you know what the word is. But they did a whole thing where a bunch of the people that were part of Overlooked Remix contributed a remix of a song from this game. And it was great. It was just really stupid, funny stuff. And I have just really fond memories of the site. And I need to do a second episode because my 4th episode of my show, which was all about Overlooked Remix, I need to revisit it. And it's just good, fond, just memories of musical discovery and mind melting and awakening. So big story. And you gotta say. And then, of course, Naze, like I said, one of the better remixers on there. He, I don't know if he ever submitted things to Overclocked Remix, but on Overlooked Remix, his stuff, it was just insane. It's all over the place, stuff like this. I played, I don't know, just you have to go check it out. Go to Overlooked Remix, look up Naze, Nase. All his stuff will blow your mind. It's insane for mid 2000s VGM remixes. amazing
I
stuff.
can't help but think that Overlooked remix sounds like Controlled Chaos.
Pretty much. It was just a cesspit of madness. It was great. But so now I think we're gonna get into your you got one last track here, guy.
Oh, yes, we do. And this has a very interesting background, if I may say so. This is from Super Mario Bros. 3. It is Athletic, the Super Mario Bros. 3 remaster 80s style. Originally composed by the great Koji Kondo, remixed by Aqua MIDI.
So that was Athletic, Super Mario Bros. 3 remastered 80s style. It was from Super Mario Bros. 3, originally composed by Koji Kondo and remixed by Aqua MIDI. And yeah, this, when most people think 80s style, they're thinking synthwave and stuff. But this sound, like I was saying to you, sounds more like an 80s cartoon thing. More makes me think of stuff like some of Thomas the Tank Engine's music, a lot of children programming and stuff from like the 80s in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Britain and stuff. A lot of the music sounded like this. And there's a guy I follow called SA Music that did music, does music in this style, but a little bit more fully produced and a little more robust. But yeah, that's what it makes me think of. Not synth, not 80s, not nostalgia of 80s synthwave stuff, but just stuff you probably hear on the TV in the 80s as a kid.
Oh yeah, like two cartoon characters trying to chase each other.
Yeah, that kind of stuff-o. But sir, you said that this one has some really has something going on here for you.
Very interesting. Yes, I have a very interesting.
I got to know about it.
Yes, very interesting story about why I chose this track in particular. Not so much the track, but the game itself. That was because in high school, I believe it was my last year, my senior year, we had a change of principals. And in a casual conversation with this principal I had, he discovered that I play video games. And then for some odd reason, he said, "Hey, can you help me with this game, Super Mario Bros. 3?" I was taken aback, like, wait, my principal plays video games? Damn, he's instantly cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I wish I had a principal like that. I wish I had any teachers like that. Oh, man.
So I just happened to get the guidebook for Super Mario Bros. 3. So I was like, being the nice person I am, I was like, yeah, here you go. I have a guide for you. You can use this to get through the game. So that's part 1 of the story.
Okay.
Part 2, at the time, I was taking an AP history, U.S. history class. Okay. And unfortunately, there were some disagreements with the staff, and the original teacher left.
Oh, dang.
So, out of the blue, my principal takes over the class. Yeah.
Dang.
Well, later in the semester, we were given assignments for an essay. He comes up to me. No, he looks at me, puts his hands together, looks up as if he's thinking, and then he says, "I want you to do an essay on the history of Nintendo." I just about fell out like, damn, it's not even U.S. history, but dude, I have to do this.
That's pretty dang cool. Like, getting to do a history on a Japanese company in AP history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AP U.S. history. U.S.
AP
history.
U.S. history, that's what it was. Dang. Yeah, it's just like, I gotta imagine, like, I would imagine, like it would be no easy feat to find the information you needed
Not
for this.
not terribly. I mean, we had an indices that we used for the periodicals, if I may use the official term, the magazines, to find the subject matter on video games and Nintendo. So I was able to find a few articles in which it talked about the history of Nintendo and some interviews here with the CEO at the time. I can't remember at the moment. And there was actually some encyclopedia entries about Nintendo and video games in general. So went through that as well.
Dang, okay.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
How I gotta know how far back were you able to track the history back to, as far as the information that you were able to find?
Oh, back to when the company started, when they originally were making Hanfuda cards.
Dang, okay.
And then eventually later on they got into electronics. And from there, that's when they started to develop the family computer, which we know as the Famicom.
It's kind of crazy that you were able to find, that information. Again, you had to hunt for it in the indexes and find those periodicals, but it's crazy that people were actually, writing about it back then in in English. I'd imagine, you'd have to find something in Japanese and then try to translate it yourself, but it sounds like people were actually just writing about it already. Then, big enough nerds to just be like, I'm gonna do this, and was just waiting for you to find it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, some of these magazines were were familiar mainstream periodicals like Newsweek and Time, so I'm pretty sure they had some correspondents that traveled over to Japan to have an interview with a translator. The hard part though was just remembering that we had catalog cards and remembering that most of them were bolted into the drawers, so I found myself yanked back into the cabinet as I was like, damn. I know some folks are like, wait, what's a card catalog?
Well, you see, kids, they're these big old metal cabinets. Maybe you might have seen them before, and they'd go on forever and ever. You'd open it, and it just never ends. And you have to look in there and find the very specific card with the information you're looking for so you can find the thing you're looking for. You got to write that down, though, because you can't take it or make a copy of it. What are you talking about? What the hell is a Xerox?
Oh, God, Xerox.
Yeah.
Which I think most people call Kinkos.
Does that even exist anymore?
Probably not, but it's it's funny that the word still pops up on occasion.
That's still a pretty crazy story. Getting to do the history of Nintendo that the principal assigned to you.
The history class.
Jeez.
I know. Oh.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was such kismet. I got a good grade for it. It was just a fun experience, just having to actually do the research on something that I enjoy doing.
That is amazing, yeah. Because in hindsight, I had to do a senior project for English class, and I decided to do it on Monty Python.
Oh, nice.
But in hindsight, I wish that if I had been able to get more access to the music and stuff and more specific examples, I wish I had gone with actual talking about VGM and stuff. But the internet at the high school was pretty limited to what I could find and get and get access to, so it was but Monty Python was fun enough and people liked it. It was ridiculous enough, they liked it. So
nice.
that's the thing there.
Yes, the advent of the internet. I remember that. BBS boards and FTPs.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, file transfer protocols, dude. That's back then how we downloaded our images and audio.
I don't know, man. I got to it too late after all that.
Oh God, I'm talking to the old crowd here, I'm sure.
Yeah, most definitely. But sir, Martyrus, that was a good selection of tunes. Thank you for bringing them in. Thank you for coming into the shop and keeping me company. And sometimes it gets a little lonely in here, just walking the shelves and kind of. Sometimes a little creepy here,
No, it can't be that creepy.
Sometimes hearing sounds coming from down below, from who, the two ghouls that are down there. Sometimes I wonder what's going on down there. I can't get them out of there because I technically am. The place was built over their crypt, so they kind of, I don't know. It's a weird symbiotic relationship, but this is what's gonna happen. And then sometimes there's weird sounds coming from the back, from the adult section. I don't even want to know. So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Gee, maybe we should have them come up and do a horror VGM show.
I've had them do it once, and that went a little strange, as you may know. But it'll be a bit until I'm ready to let him back up and do that thing. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, Martyrus, tell the folks once again, how can they find you?
Well, they can go to my website, re-vgm.com, where you'll find all the episodes, all list of all the cover and remix musicians that are found. And, there's a page there of interest, of links to video game music news here and there. As for the podcast itself, you can find it on many places where you listen to your podcasts, like Spotify and Apple Music, or Podcast Index, or Deezer. And you can follow the podcast on social media on Instagram and Twix at @re_VGM.
And then actually, I think there's one more place that folks can find you, and that would be TerraPlayer, right?
Oh, right. Yes, TerraPlayer. Yes. It is the home of your favorite gaming, music, and entertainment podcasts, live and on demand. Listen online at terraplayer.com through your browser, on Amazon Alexa through the skill name TerraPlayer, or on the TerraPlayer app through Google Android, Apple iOS devices, and Amazon Fire.
So, a little heads up. The app right now only has the radio stations on there, none of the podcasts or anything like that. Yeah. So you have to go to the actual website to listen to the podcasts. But it is a great assortment, and more are getting added each day. It's a really cool resource, and I'm hoping, I'm really excited to see, what it evolves into, But yeah, Martyrus, again, thank you for coming in, my podcast bro, and sharing. Helping to dive into these school memories. And then actually, speaking of retro school memory things, you're doing an episode in celebration of Retro Game Day coming up this Friday, yes?
Yep, March 8th, if I got my calendar right, is National Retro Video Game Day. It's an important date, and you'll know why in the episode.
Yeah, and I submitted something to that, and it's one of those things that some people will say, wait, that can't be retro. That only came out. No. Yeah, that you'll know what I mean when it happens.
When I did put a question out asking for people to submit something for a retro and a few tracks here and there, and quite simply, someone asked about it, and I simply say, retro is basically what's based on your timeline and what you played as a teenager or as a college student back then, or something before 2000s, I guess, if we're going to go by the video game timeline. But I mean, it's an opportunity for anyone just to say and talk about how much they enjoyed those video games, and submit a track or two just to spread the love really of cool. VGM.
I'm really looking forward to hearing it. And again, that's gonna be coming out tomorrow.
Oh yes.
So you get a double dose of Martyrus this week. This is great. Yes. So again, Martyrus, thank you for coming in. And look forward to having you in here again. And
thank you.
Looking forward to your episode tomorrow.
Oh, you bet. Oh, hey, by the way, Sal gave me these gummies.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, these.
Somebody gave you those gummies?
Yeah, Sal.
Don't eat the gummies.
Wait, why? Why?
I don't know. I just don't eat anything that Sal gives you. I don't know what goes on inside that room of his. I don't want to know. He's kind of taken up. He lives there during the day, basically. He has some place he sleeps at night, but he basically comes here all day and just stays in there. I don't want to know what goes on in there. I wouldn't trust anything he hands to you. Just put him on the floor, and I'll find something to pick him up with. And you might want to wash your hands really good with maybe some lye.
You actually have lye in this store? Damn.
No, you can find your own.
Okay, fine. I think you have I think I saw a trash can outside the store, so maybe I'll dispose of them quickly.
Nice. Well, see ya. Good luck with that.
You bet. And thank you again, Rage Cage, for this opportunity.
You're welcome, Marty, and thank you again for coming in. And thank you all for coming in as well. Hope you enjoyed this here fun time I had with Martyrus, reminiscing about our school days, and hopefully it helped trigger some fonder memories of your school days as well. So if you haven't already, make sure to follow Martyrus on all the social medias, as well as any podcatcher that you happen to listen to. And, definitely tune in to check out his episode of Re-VGM tomorrow, talking about, celebrating Retro Video Game Day. And then, of course, you can find VG Emporium on all the social media, such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then on any of the podcatchers such as Spotify, Apple, YouTube, YouTube Music, Amazon, Audible, and then of course TerraPlayer, as Martyrus and I talked about earlier. And then there is of course the main website, vgemporium.wordpress.com. Now, what I have coming up here for next week, I'm not quite sure, but for the week after that, I have another guest episode with a regular listener and special orderer and fellow musician chiptunist, and we're going to be talking about VGM in the style of techno and other electronic music genres. So definitely be sure to come back and check those out.